Stanford and Essentia hospitals say that positive COVID-19 tests and potential exposures to the virus by their healthcare workers have forced them to rely on what's called travel nurses to help care for their patients in a critical time. Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley spoke with both providers today on how many travelers each hospital has and the vital role that they're playing.
Essentia Health says the last 3 or 4 weeks has been extremely busy as they continue to take in patients from all over the state and parts of Minnesota. But Dr. Richard Vetter says most are non-COVID, saying the number of COVID-19 patients needing an ICU bed or a ventilator is much less than at the beginning of the pandemic.
Many of our COVID patients are in only for, 24 hours, 48 hours until we can just, be reassured that they're going to be safe, that their respiratory conditions not worsening.
And while Vetter says their Fargo hospital has been running at or near capacity recently, it's not beds that's been the biggest challenge for them, rather the staffing.
They get quarantined and can't come to work, and so that's been a challenge.
To help combat the shortages, both Essentia and Sanford say they're currently contracting traveling nurses, adding while it does vary, each traveler's contract lasts around 12 weeks. Sanford Health says since July they've hired 152 temporary nurses, and Essentia says this week alone they have 15 extra hands on deck.
They are very hard to come by, as you can imagine, with every part in the country negotiating or trying to get travelers into their communities.
Vetter says there's currently what seems like a never-ending grid, keeping track of which staff member is out and for how long.
If you have a family member that's tested positive and is symptomatic and you're living in that same household, then really your quarantine period, it could theoretically be up to 24 days. And so that's a real challenge.
Vetter adds most healthcare workers' exposure happens outside of the hospital, which has Essentia putting extra emphasis on COVID precautions and safety for their staff. In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.